We're here. We are live. We are answering fantasy basketball questions. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I'm no longer recording from inside a submarine. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Also, check out our newsletters, LockedOnDaily.com, and you can go and check out all of the information about your favorite team. I'll give you the answer which one I signed up for. I signed up for the Locked On Pelicans newsletter. So there you go. That was the one I signed up for. You can go sign up for more than that. Maybe I'll go do that as well. And of course, while you're doing that, double bang and thumb and comment and all of that cool stuff. We are here to talk whatever you guys want to talk about. Fantasy questions. And to do that, I'm joined by the man himself, straight out of his deathbed. It is Adam King. Welcome back to the show, Kingy.
Thanks, mate. Good to be back. I'm feeling a bit better, and it's almost the weekend, so that makes me feel better too.
It is almost the weekend, and it's Friday. That's what day it is. I'm trying to figure out what day it is. It is Friday here. And last week, the last 2 weeks that we've been doing this, I haven't been able to get the live chat questions up on the screen. I think we might have got it done. So I'm just going to put a message up on the screen for those of you watching. Did that work? There it is. It says, "Yo, Josh." I don't like the positioning of it. Maybe I'll put it. I'll figure out where I'm going to put it, but it's there. We've got questions up on the screen. I'm going to put it there. All right, that'll work, I think. All right, Yo Josh is up on the screen. We're ready to go. Kingy, let's try. I'm just going to try and find one to get off here. Okay, about Pedro Marquez. And this is just one, someone made a joke, should I drop Tyrese Maxey? But that's the news that came through about Tyrese Maxey, hamstring injury. Someone said if you drop Maxey for McCain, you should simply give up fantasy. Someone said, should I drop Tyrese Maxey for Jared McCain? But let's just use that to push through to talk about the Maxey injury and what we're doing. Like, who are we? Who are you adding in this situation, if anybody?
Probably not anyone really. I think Oubre probably just sticks a bit longer. Caleb Martin gets a little bit more. Maybe Kyle Lowry starts, but he would need about 40, 50 minutes to have value, I think.
Isn't Lowry a top 120 player already this season in 24 minutes?
I think he's been okay, but
he stunk in the last game, but I think he was shooting like really, really well. And he was getting 4 or 5 assists. And I'm almost certain that Lowry's going to start. Let me have a look. He's averaging 8 points, 2 threes, 3.5 assists, 1.4 steals, shooting 53%. He's like on the borderline of 12-team leagues in 22 minutes. So I don't think he's a must roster. But I think what Kyle Lowry does is move into a Mike Conley sort of a position where you go, yeah, maybe, but not necessarily. And then for deeper leagues, I really want to see what they do with Jared McCain, because I think Reggie Jackson might officially be washed, unfortunately.
Based on what we've seen, which hasn't been much.
All right. Let's move off of the Maxey stuff. I'm sure we'll get another question later on. Andreas Petronas says, do you think that Jabari Smith Jr. will remain a starter by the end of the season? It has been a uninspiring beginning to the year from Smith. He's had some good games. He's had some stinker games. But it's just always, I think he seems to be the same sort of thing where he's just like... There's just nothing. It's just like blur. There's no urge. There's no drive. There's no boost. There's no bump. What do you think about that? Do you think they'd ever make that change?
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we'd love to see it from a fantasy perspective, to see them move like Tyrese or someone in there and shuffle things up. But yeah, I don't think so. But he has been very meh. I've spoken about him a couple of times on my show that I know he's had a couple of good games, but he hasn't taken that next step. He's basically doing now what he did as a rookie. Nothing's changed. There's no defensive stats. Scoring is below average.
He's averaging
he doesn't excite
12
me
and
at
7. 12 and 7 with under a half a steal and half a block. Like, that's putrid.
Yeah.
Like, this guy came in out of Auburn with like big steal numbers, big block numbers. He was a bad 2-point shooter, but we thought he'd be able to improve there, but he can't hit threes. Like, I actually think that in a lot of spots you can just move on, honestly, because what's the upside here? Like, what's he going to turn around on this team that's stacked and start to blow us away? I don't think they'd make that move for Tari Eason, but I wouldn't be shocked because honestly, like, Eason outperforms him almost every game. I'm not sure that he's quite big enough, or who knows? Like, do I think he'll start all season? I wouldn't say it's 100% that he does. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, Eason or Thompson. I mean, moving me, but I don't think they will. I think he'll stick there. But as you said, in terms of fantasy, he's just not going to get an opportunity on this team to all of a sudden become this top 50 guy.
That's true. Bearded Hefner says, are you holding Trey Mann in Yahoo standard 9-cat leagues?
Yeah, I think so. He was bad yesterday. Had 7 points or something, but that was his worst game of the year. Like he had scored double digits in every game. He's clearly their sixth man who, like, they need him to score. So just because he had a bad game doesn't mean they're going to take the ball out of his hands. So I'd still be holding him for a little bit longer.
I would be holding for a small amount of time because I just want, if he gets 27 a night, I'm in, right? But if it's a 22-minute a night 6-man role, then I'm not. And I think part of the reason I probably would have been more quick to drop after yesterday had we not seen LaMelo Ball appear with a questionable tag before the game. And I was like, all right, is that going to be a thing? Is he going to miss a game here or there coming up in the next week? And that would mean more for Mann. So that probably gives me just a little bit of pause. And if we don't see any sort of questionable tags on LaMelo over the next week and Mann plays 21 a night, then I'll be like, all right, that's not worth it. But that sort of gave me a bit of a buffer, I guess, to keep holding through that period of time. Sure, that's not your real name. Are you considering Julian Strawther in 12-team leagues? I am considering it, Kingy. His minutes are up, but I don't know if that is solely because Aaron Gordon is out, or it's the combination of Gordon and Murray. So I don't think that Strawther's 100% an ad at the moment. He got 27 minutes and 6 assists last game. I think that he's under consideration, and he's very, very much below where Peyton Watson should be, I think.
Yeah, Watson's the priority here. I think Strawther's okay to consider at least while Murray is out and Westbrook is playing ridiculously well somehow. So maybe if Westbrook has his traditional bad game, Strawther gets a few more minutes. So I think he's worth considering at the moment until we get word that Murray's back, and then he's probably more of just a streamer.
I don't like to answer questions from the same person two in a row, but I saw this question, I wanted to answer it, and then it's S again, but maybe it's a different S. He says, how do you make your start-sit decisions on a full slate? Do you target specific categories in your matchup or go for the best performance overall? I think there's a really clear answer here, Kingy, and I want to see if you're right or wrong.
Well, for me, I target my stats because I'm always punting, so I know exactly what I need coming into a day. I have a look at the matchups. Who are they up against? Who have you got? Have a look at minutes, all sorts of things. But I usually just look at what stats I need based on the scoreline in my matchup.
I would usually do it, and that's with the way that you build your teams out, Kingy, that makes a lot of sense. But also, you say that what stats you need in your matchup. Aren't you in a situation where you're punting for categories, so the stats you need are the same stats every single day anyway?
They are, but it's usually some good examples in a couple of my leagues this week, because this is a really good week of the example of this question, is that in a couple of leagues I don't need to throw guys in there to get blocks because I'm so far ahead already, but I need steals. So I might play like a Tari Eason over, I don't know, Walker Kessler or over Jaden Ivey, not Jaden Ivey, over Zach Edey, or something like that. Like that. So that's, I guess, what I mean is that I might, in those utility spots, I might play a guard instead of a center because I need steals rather than blocks.
I think to me that the way that it depends on how they do it. People are in a real sort of strong punt situation. Your mode works pretty well. I think for the majority of people, early week, just play your best players. Yeah. It's really hard to know like, well, is this guy like we can target? It's part of my issue with the sleeper format. It's very hard to know what's going to happen specifically for one player or one specific to go, I'm going to add this guy and he get blocks and he gets 0. And he gets 3 the next game and you haven't started him, right? Like that's really hard to know. So I just go, your best chances of getting the best performances are from your best players. So just put those guys in and let's see what happens. At the end of the week, on Sunday, on Saturday, and you go, well, I actually really need these 2 things. Then be a little bit more strategic. And it's going to work sometimes and sometimes it isn't. You might chuck in a good free throw shooter and he goes 4 of 6 and brings you down and you lose the category. But that's the thing that happens. I would rather get more opportunities with the best players earlier in the week and switch on a weekend to getting more category type specific things to happen. Keep getting your questions in. I'm going to get to more of those in a sec. But today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Yes, PrizePicks, the largest daily fantasy sports site in North America, I believe it is. 10 million members, billions of dollars of awarded winnings. It's the best place for you to get real money sports action. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can win that 100 times your money on PrizePicks now. You need to get just as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. So when your picks hit, you can get your money back in as fast as 15 minutes. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA and you get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Why is that not working? I'm sure it will if I bring it across. Oh, well, something weird's going on there. Anyway, I was supposed to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, and I'm going to tell you anyway, but even though the little graphic's not working, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. You know that you can be watching sports. We all love sports. You're watching sports, and you're waiting for a game, and you see a live betting opportunity to appear. And usually in the past, you might have to go to separate parts of an app or a different app to see all the live stats and to see all that sort of stuff and the play-by-play breakdown. But no, not on FanDuel. You open it up, and where you place the live bets is where you see all the stats and the live play-by-play analysis. And as a new customer, if you go and place a $5 bet, you can get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. So join FanDuel today, FanDuel.com. Today is where you join and get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right, question straight away for us here, Kingy. Does Westbrook keep this up? No, is the answer. No.
No, I'm surprised it lasted 2 games.
Yeah, it's Jamal Murray's absence. He shot unbelievably well. He won't be this good. You ride it while it's happening, and then when Murray's back, you move on. Dennis asked the question, or Elias also asked the question about Shaedon Sharpe. But I'm actually going to go to Dennis's first. Shaedon Sharpe or Trey Murphy the third rest of season? To me, that's very clearly Trey, but that can also bring us into what are you doing with Shaedon? Do you think he should be grabbed everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, looking at my leagues, he already is. He was drafted in most leagues late. So I've had questions about, do we activate him tonight? And who do I drop? I would be cautious about activating him straight away because we don't know what his minutes are going to look like. We don't know if he's going to start, come off the bench. Who does he impact? Because he hasn't really played for so long. And they look a little bit different. Their lineup, they're relatively healthy now. So, yeah, I think he probably should be rostered just to see what he can do because it would make sense that Portland will want to get him out there and see what he can do because he's not a rookie.
No, but he hasn't played much.
They need to find out.
He hasn't played a huge amount.
No.
All right, so I'm going to get to something in a second about Milwaukee, but let's talk about Detroit first, where Jalen Duren sprained his ankle yesterday. We don't know if he's going to be out any period of time, but we saw Isaiah Stewart get the bulk of the minutes, and then Paul Reed came in, had 12 points, 2 steals, 1 block in 12 minutes, and that's just what Paul Reed does. That's the Paul Reed experience. Mm-hmm. What are you doing, Kingy? Which one of these guys is the ad there to you?
Well, I think Stewart will start because it looks like he will. He started the second half with Duren out, so if we base it on that, I'd rather the ad be Paul Reed, but I think Stewart's going to get more minutes. But we've seen Stewart in this role before, and he is borderline at best, I think. So he is probably if I had to pick one, it would be Stewart because I think he plays more minutes. But I don't think either of them are must add, sort of sprint drop this guy to add Isaiah Stewart.
I think you just look. Reed was great. I know that what Reed can do in strong minutes. I don't believe that he's going to get necessarily big minutes. I could easily see a scenario here, Kingy, where both guys have 12-team relevance, but they're like the worst player on your roster. And Stewart plays 26 and Reed plays 20, and that's probably enough for both of them. If I'm adding one, it's probably Stewart, but I'm not like overly excited about it either way. If you want that upside, just in case they do a 24-minute split, well, Reed will clearly smash what Stewart can bring. So that's like, hey, let's take a flyer and see what Reed can bring sort of a scenario. But like, I really doubt that's going to be the case. Now, we do have a starting lineup change today, King. Gary Trent is getting benched and Andre Jackson Jr. is going to start for the Bucks. So people are asking, is he worth a stream? Well, first of all, there's only 6 teams playing. So like, yeah, if someone's going to be playing tonight and starting, why not? He's going to be like, just think Matisse Thybulle. This is what this player is. He can get a few more assists. He won't score. He'll have some bad percentages, but defensive stats, some assists, sure, right? But I wouldn't be pinning my hopes on huge stuff from Andre Jackson, like, at all. I think I'd probably rather like an AJ Green, honestly, but that's going to depend on what you want in terms of your steals versus threes and scoring. But yeah, I think it's just going to be almost reminiscent of the way the Kings are rotating through those guards. You're going to have Trent, you're going to have Jackson, you're going to have Green, you're going to have these guys sort of just moving through and no one is able to establish themselves in a large enough role.
Yeah, OKC you're doing a similar thing for a very different reason.
Yeah.
But yes, it's maybe this is a masterstroke by Doc Rivers.
Yeah, that's definitely what we all know Doc Rivers for, is all these gigantic masterstrokes. He's a masterstroke legend, some might say. Cobra Cola? Is there any belief in Delano Banton? I know the minutes are low, but this is a standard 12-team 9-cat roto. No, not at all. He was really great. What he scored, like 20 points or something in a quarter, or whatever it was last game. Yeah. But he's literally been out of the rotation, and he's just, and now Sharpe is back as well. So you're going to have Sharpe, you're going to have Simons, you're going to have Denny, you're going to have Kamara, you're going to have Scoot. Like, where does he fit in? Like, there's almost no path, unless there are 3 injuries, for Banton to be a guy that plays enough minutes to matter. Yet, last game, awesome. But fluke, right? That's just not a realistic thing. So, yeah, we don't have to worry really about that, like, at all, I don't think. What else can we get to here? What is your biggest W, being right about Embiid or Poole? I'm not right about either player. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not right about these guys. I'm not wrong about other players. I'm not wrong about Vucevic. I'm not right about Poole. I'm not right about Edey. Kingy's not wrong about Edey. It's fucking 7 games, man. Like, we're so far to go with this stuff. Like, that Jordan Poole could shoot 30% for the next 2 months. Right? No one's right about anything. Joel Embiid might not miss another game the rest of the season. Of course, that won't happen. But no one can be making broad statements like this. Last week, everyone was ready to kill Fred VanVleet and anyone who said he was good, and now he's had 2 games in a row where he's been awesome. Like, do you remember Jalen Johnson was a busking? Like, this stuff is way too early to have any sort of like comments on this.
Yeah. We were getting the Wemby questions after 2 games of why the hell did we pick him at 1? And then he came out and had that 5x5 game and everything is fine with the world. So yes, still very early.
Very, very early. Clamp guy, do I think the Bub Carrington is going to be a great hold? King, I'll let you take that one first.
A great hold? I don't know. A hold, probably at this stage. Brogdon, we're assuming, will play at some point, and he will come in and impact Carrington's minutes a little bit.
I don't think he will, honestly. I think that they're pretty, like, I think we can see what they're doing, that they're pretty, like, established. But great hold is a tough call, right? It's a rookie point guard. He's playing really well. I think he has to be rostered. We'll see where it goes, but I think we're going to have some lean stretches coming up.
Yeah, he will. And as you said, rookie point guard, it's typical to see them struggle at points. Look at Keontae George, who still struggles on a lot of nights.
Very much so.
Yeah, no, I mean, Carrington's been good. I mean, Washington, I think, as a whole, result-wise, maybe not, but fantasy-wise, there's a lot of value there.
There is, at the moment. There's a lot happening. Speaking of Washington, Long John Silver says, Alex Sarr, what is his upside? Could he finish the season in the top 100 in 9-cat? Is he not there already? There's a lot of questions. I have this push and pull, King. I don't know if you get it as well, where I say, hey, guys, make sure you go and add Alex Sarr. He's like 44% rostered. Then someone will come in and say, what are you talking about? He's rostered in every league. Stop these casuals. These numbers are all fake. And then I have a question like, hey, do you think I should add Alex Sarr? So it's a broad range. Let's be really clear about this, Kingy. Alex Sarr should have been drafted in every single league. Alex Sarr should have been held in every single league, and he should be rostered in every single league. There is no debate about this. I think the top 100 is a very, very comfortable upside position for him. According to the way that I have my rankings, he's 97th so far this season. So, I reckon he's got a pretty good chance of being inside the top 100 because he already is, and that is in playing 25 minutes a night. He was, to me, very clearly the best rookie in this class. He was the best fantasy guy to draft as a rookie in this class, I thought, and so far he is performing like the best rookie in this class. So, everything to me is just going along as I thought it would.
Yeah, agreed. I think he'll probably be in that discussion for top 100, and he's looked... It's been good. He's looked better and better and better. So he's just getting used to the speed and the NBA game. And I think obviously they're just going to have him out there. They don't care about wins. So he should be top 100, I think.
There's a lot of great questions coming through, and I'm going to get to a couple more of those in a second. Keep them coming. But today's episode is brought to you by Skims. Skims is a product. King, you might have heard of Skims. What do you know about Skims? You've heard of them before? Skins. Well, you know what? It's not that far. Skims is a brand of underwear, which exclusively used to be for women, but now there's a men's version. So brand ambassadors like Gilgeous-Alexander promoting it through the NBA as well, and now me telling you about how you can keep your undercarriage safe and secure. That is what Skims for men are. They are some of the most comfortable undies you've got, and we all know this as guys that we wear undies and we find a pair that's comfy and we wear them until there's holes everywhere, holes where there's not supposed to be holes. And then you go, why were you wearing these stupid undies for? Let me get you some new ones. You go, hold off. I've found the right one. Skims for men is the one for me. Different material, stretch material, the sort of material you find inside running shorts and those little sewn in underwear. The traditional cotton, 5 inches, 3 inches. Now, King, I'm not sure how you've had much experience with having 3 inches in your pants, but you can get the 3-inch underwear through on Skims for men as well. Briefs, boxers, boxer briefs, all the different sizes and styles and colors. I've got, I don't know which one. I think I've got the 5-incher in my drawer at the moment. I don't have the cotton. I've got the stretch one. Super comfortable. Love to wear them, and you're going to love them as well. So if you think Skims is just for women, think again. Skims for men is the new product that is available over there. So go and check out Skims for men and shop for Skims for men at skims.com and let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, there's a little survey and you can select podcasts in that and then look for our show in the drop-down menu that follows. And if you're looking for the perfect gifts for the whole family, Skims just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com. The next question, Kingy, from Poke Marque says, is Tyus Jones concerning?
Concerning? No, I think he's doing what we thought he was going to do. He's getting assists, he's getting steals, he's running the show. Not going to score a lot, but we weren't expecting him to score a lot. So I think if you drafted him for assists and steals, then you're okay.
I think that's all so much of this all comes down to. Nearly every analysis we do on any player or whatever, it's like, what did you expect? Like, I spoke about it until I was blue in the face. And I go, there's no way that Tyus Jones is going to be getting any sort of usage on this team. He'll get some assists, but there are going to be games where he closes and games where he doesn't close because they don't necessarily need him out there when the big guys are running things. And that's sort of been the case. His usage is 12%. His assists are strong, but like he's actually not really even getting steals at the moment. He's shooting the 3-ball fine, but at the moment he's a one-category player, which honestly is what you should have expected. If you were looking at him at pick 80 or something, that was never going to work out. If you're looking for an assist guy towards the end of the draft, sure, go for it. Like, that's fine. He's doing exactly what I thought. A guy that can fill in some point guard minutes, he'll get some assists, and realistically, not do anything else. So to me, is he concerning? Like, no. He's like, that's why I didn't draft him in any draft, because he went about 20 spots earlier than I was happy to pick him. So he's sort of like doing exactly the expectation that I had, and that's where all of this stuff comes through, I guess. It's about where your initial expectation was as to whether someone's a letdown or not. Joseph Kim says, even though Tobias Harris is ranked 53 across 9-cats on Yahoo rankings do not use them, do not look at them, do not believe them, do not pay any attention to them. But anyway, Harris has been pretty good. He says, do you think that his season has been underwhelming or right where it should be right now? What do you think about where Tobias Harris is? Do you think it's been underwhelming?
I wouldn't say it's been overwhelming. Again, this is probably a little bit of a what were you expecting from him? I've got his numbers here: 13 points, almost 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, a block, 0.7 steals. Yeah, look, maybe slightly underwhelming. But I didn't think, like people were saying, he's going to be this top 40 guy. Detroit have got no one else. They're just going to need him to do everything. But I think we've seen Ivy step up. We've seen a really good season from Cade. So I don't know, maybe fractionally underwhelming, but I think he was going fractionally high in some drafts as well.
I think he's marginally underwhelming, I guess. I think his shooting still's got plenty of room to come. Like, okay, his shooting's got room to come up, Kingy, because he's shooting 17% from 3. So, like, that's going to come up. And when that comes up, he'll settle as about, like, I know you're telling me that this Yahoo rank says he's 59th again, garbage ranking, don't look at it. But when that shooting number comes up, he will be 40th on Yahoo, and people will think that he's a 4th-round player, and he isn't. But he'll be between 50 and 65, which I think is the probably right spot for him. His blocks might drop a little bit. He's averaging 13 and 7 at the moment. That is, the threes go to a normal number. We're hitting an extra 1 a game. We're talking 16 and 7, almost 3 assists, a steal, a block, like with that's it. Like, the upside is not higher than that, but it's relatively safe, I would say, at that position. I don't really see what more is going to go wrong there. I don't know what this question is from Cole. Malcolm Brogdon, what to do? Like, nothing? What are you talking about, what to do? Nothing. Why have you got him? Move on from him. He's going to come back at some point, but what are you doing? What to do? Nothing. Someone wants to see my underwear. That's for later. What else have we got? Can Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo play together? I'm excited about Ware's production. Don't be excited about Ware's production. I like Ware a lot. Kingy, but yesterday was his first real introduction to the rotation. He took over from Thomas Bryant. I think he sticks there. Can he play next to Bam? Sure. Yeah, it's not like Nikola Jovic and Hayward Highsmith are playing well, but Spo has been against this idea for a period of time. There was a period where Bam was playing a lot as a 4, but he moved away from that. We have seen no indication so far that they're going to go back to that sort of an alignment. So I wouldn't be getting my hopes up there, but at least it's encouraging to see Ware get those backup minutes.
Yeah, it is. I probably I like Ware and you like Ware. He was really good in the summer league preseason, and then they came out and rolled Thomas Bryant out as the backup, and so that was disappointing. But it's taken them 3 weeks into the season to realise that Thomas Bryant shouldn't be a backup and that Khalil Ware might be. So, but yes, he played. What did he play? 13 minutes yesterday, something like that. That's not enough to have fantasy value, but it's good to see him out there.
I think it's just one to watch, and we just see if it does begin any crossover minutes. I don't think that it'll necessarily be there, but I think that we'll get there. I don't think we'll get there, but we need to pay attention to see if it happens. Ali Aliao says, how long do you hold players that are struggling, Keontae and FAV, or that have breakout potential like Okongwu or Tari with 4 waiver pickups a week and medium-sized bench? Well, there's pretty obvious things to me, like Keontae George, Fred VanVleet. These are 30-plus minute a night starting point guards who get assists, who have good volume usage, and they just were shooting really poorly. How long do you hold them? Like, indefinitely. Unless they lose their job, like, you don't move on from those sort of players. If you drafted either of those players, I'm pretty sure, Kingy, you're aware that they're going to be bad at shooting, right? That's what they are. So unless they lost their job, you don't move on from them at all. It's insane to do that. There are other players who might be struggling. Say, I'm trying to find a good example, like Mike Conley, right? We'll use him as an example. Like, he's playing 23 minutes a night. It's been the case every night. It's not that he's got the same role, the same usage, the same minutes that he had in the past. He doesn't. So in that one, like, we can see a real pattern here. That one, I'd say, like, this is enough. It's a repeatable stretch of 8 games, 9 games. Like, I don't know what is changing there. So it's all going to be individualized. But if someone's role is fine, their usage is fine, they're doing the thing that you expect them to do, just slightly worse, why would you decide to move on? And then on the other side of it, Okongwu and Tari, like, how long do you give those sort of players? Like, where are you at, say, for example, with Okongwu?
Okongwu is tricky because he had that really good opening night game, and we thought, okay, this is it. He's going to be playing over Clint Capella, and that ended pretty quickly. His toes seems to be an ongoing issue. He had 2 points yesterday in 20 minutes. Capella played 28 minutes. I don't have him anywhere, but if I did, I mean, I'd probably still be trying to hold because we've seen what he can do. And I don't know whether he's injured, like whether this toe is just an ongoing thing and it's going to hang around for a while. I'm not sure. I'd probably hold a little bit longer if I could, but it's. I don't think that breakout that we thought might come is coming unless he can get healthy and Clint Capella gets injured, which of course that could happen.
JDW says, what do you do about D'Lo? And a lot of these questions, when you say, what do you do? Like, nothing is the answer. Like, yeah, he was bad yesterday. He got benched down the stretch. But what do you do? Like, nothing. What can you do, really?
Yeah, nothing. He's too good to drop. You can't trade him. So you've just got to hold and cross your fingers. And, yeah, I mean, I think Redick even came out and said yesterday that he wanted to get a look at Gabe Vincent and he wasn't happy with the way Russell was playing. And yeah, there's no reason to think this is a pattern and that D'Angelo Russell's going to play 23 minutes a night moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if that does become a pattern, right, then we can assess it. But we've also seen in the past, they did it last year where he got benched and did that for a week and a half, then came back and shot 1,000,000% from three for 3 months and, cooked everyone for a period of time. But that's the question. You don't do it after half a game of being benched. Like, that's not the way that you need to be reactive on something like that. We're going to do one more question. MB, will Chet deliver first or second round value by the end of the year? Very confident, Kingy, that he's not going to be a first round player. I didn't want anyone to touch him in round one, so I'm just going to stick with that where we're at now. Do you think he can be a second round player?
I think he can probably be close. I mean, we know if you are looking at rankings, the flaws in terms of those low volume categories like blocks and steals, he's going to be at 2.5 blocks, which is going to have him right up there in that at least top 30. And then he gets rebounds, he hits threes, doesn't hurt your free throws. So I think he can probably be mid to late second round.
I think probably late second round is best case. I said last question. This one's just going to be the last quick one because it's an overarching point, which I think is important. Pressy says, in a 12-team league, a 12-team points league, although that part doesn't really matter, do you go with Shaedon, Sharpe, or Kyle Lowry? It is really, really easy to me here. I think it has to be Sharpe. I would say that Lowry's production might be the same as Sharpe's while Maxey is out, and then Lowry's production disappears. Whereas Sharpe's got the ability to be similar and then keep it going all season long. Like, don't overthink this one. Like, there are people who are like, I need to rush and add Andre Jackson. Like, yeah, but probably not, yeah? Or like, Lowry can be added, but it's not one of these ones where it's a clear, got to do it. Whereas Sharpe, you would expect that there is, when we're looking forward on this stuff, Kingy, we can see that there is a 20-week window here for Sharpe, not a 2-week window. And that is your, I think, obvious, like, deciding factor.
Yeah, Sharpe's arrow is pointed up. Lowry's is not. It's pointed up. Well, it might be pointed up for 2 weeks, but beyond that, it's not. And Sharpe is, as I said, they want to get a look at him. They want to see where he fits in their future. So, yeah, Sharpe over Lowry. Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you think Bailey Smith is going to go at Geelong this year?
I don't care. He can do whatever he wants, mate. After he's abandoned us, he can go do whatever he wants at Geelong.
I thought that would be your answer.
I will not be paying any attention to that. Adonis, sorry, last question. What's my favourite team? Just again for the new guys, I don't have a favourite team. I don't have a team that I support. I used to be a Bulls fan. That ended 10 years ago. I don't have a team. That's it. We're done. Kingy, what's going on? What are you doing?
Getting ready for work now, but beyond that, doing a daily show. And doing a couple of extra shows, trying to do an industry pickup recap every week. We did one this week with Fantasy Trash Talk. So weekly shows, couple articles a week on RotoWire, and that's it. Just in the grind.
Season is rolling along. Go check out Kingy, check out Kingy's shows, and thank you again, Adam, for jumping on.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, that'll wrap us up here. And if you are here watching live or it's after the fact, you know what to do. You give us a thumb, you double bang, you leave your comments. All of that stuff helps out a lot. I hope that it was better having the questions up on the screen this time. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.